Custom and tradition are very important to a people. Custom relates to the behavior of a people. Tradition is basically passed down from generation to generation, and it includes their ways of life, even up to what they eat, how they dress, and generally how they conduct themselves. Obinadunze is my name. I am a documentary photographer trained locally and internationally. Egbu is situated along the Owerri-Umuahia road, immediately next to Owerri on that road. A lot of people refer to Egbu as Egbu-Owerri, but indeed, Egbu is an autonomous community, just like Owerri and Chise. Egbu has its own tradition, culture that are unique to it, and that's what we're about to explore. Egbu people are friendly and welcoming. One of the unique features about Egbu Kingdom is its government system that is well established and cherished.
About the General Assembly, you know, we have 3 arms of government in Egbu here. We have the Eze in Council, Eze, Egbu. We have the Oha, and we have the General Assembly. The General Assembly is the administrative arm of the government here in Egbu. Administrative arm, we do everything. What Eze does is advisory. Whatever we want to do, we go and tell him. Then if he has any advice to give to us, he gives us and we do that. But we don't do anything without him.
So I'm chairman of Egbu Council of Elders. Egbu. So I know Eze akwụkwọ na-achị Egbu. Eze gị mee o ji agwa anyị che lekwa ihe a ga-eme. Ya kpọrọ anyị, anyị anyị diskọsụ, ya gwa ihe ọ ga-eme. Anyị anyị akwadokwanụ mee ihe ahụ ya adịghị mma.
Egbu Council of Elders, Wundeja Haji Obodo, in this ancient kingdom. That is what Egbu is. Ndeja Haji Obodo. Ndeja maintain peace and order in Egbu ancient kingdom. Arionyo Hamu, normally, secretary kweshilishi from Oha, Ndonha, Afwa, but because of their age, you know, some of them are in a bad sight and maybe cannot write properly. He decide iwe huaka outside. Horror, somebody that can act properly for them in terms of writing. As their secretary.
Edila ama oraka shi onye ọzọ. Ọwụ onye ọmara n'aka no dem onye ọwụ ya ga-eshi ya. Onye ọwụ ya ga-eshi ya shi ya anwụ. Onye ọwụ ya ga-eshi ya shi ya anwụ. Ọ ga-ada ka anwụ.
Ọrụ Egbu primarily wụ ịhazi obodo. nga enwere okwu na ụka bịa repọtụọla ndị ọha in terms of ịgba akwụkwọ, ndị ọha egbe eleba ya anya hazie ya so that there will be peace in that family.
N'ime ọha anyị ji ekwu ihe wee ndị ọha eji arụrụ ụwa ejikwa ha ekwuru okwu achị eji ekpe ikpe re mma, so ejikwa ha ekwu eziokwu n'ihe elu imekpekwa n'ikpe ikpe nwe ga-awụ 1 a na-agba ya ya rubedi kọt a ga-eji kọt jee gbaa akaebe ya ekpere.
And secondly, ọ wụ oke na ọrụ ndị ọha egbu ikuma eze egbu okpu ahụhụ eze egbu, because egbu ejila azọla eze azọ kpa ndị ọzọ eji azọ. That is why Egbu Autonomous Community is a unique kingdom. You can't compare us with any other community. N'ihi na anyị ejila azọla eze azọ. Eze anyị comes out from a particular family. And ọ wụkwa n'oke na ọrụ ndị ọha egbu ikuma eze egbu okpu. Before ye jema local government and other areas.
The origin of Egbukole dynasty dates back to history, very long history indeed. Egbukole was said to be a strong, handsome young man, and the community identified him and made him their leader. In fact, when it all started, Egbukole was identified as just a chief. Even when the Europeans came in 1896, he was still identified as a chief. But he was the leader of the Egbu community, and they so acknowledged him. Along the line, Egbu reposed a lot of confidence in Egbukole Okorafor, to the extent that they accepted him both during wars and peace as their leader. At his demise, his first son, Orisakwe Egbukole, took over the mantle of leadership, and that was acknowledged and cherished by the entire town. At the demise of Orisakwe, his first son again, Eze Ewujiam George Orisakwe Egbukole, took over as the next, as the Ochoroma III, actually. Egbukole was the Ochoroma I, Orisakwe was the Ochoroma II, and George was Ochoroma III. At the demise of George Lemadem, there was some little change. The change came within the family, because at this time, the community has become enlightened there was need now to find somebody who fits the current event. So within the Ebukole family, Eze Mitchell, Eze Somaga Ebukole was identified by the family. At his demise, a son of Eze George Ebujem took over, Felix Nwanna Orisakwe Ebukole. Now, in all these hereditary changes, as soon as there is a vacancy, a period of mourning is declared by the community, and usually that lasts for 1 year. After the 1 year interregnum, the family comes up with a member of family and presents it to Ndoha. Egbu are the kingmakers, they are called. They crown the Eze of Egbu. And this is usually done in a ceremony that involves the town. People are invited to the ceremony, and a formal capping, which is the crowning of the Eze, is done in the family compound. That is the procedure. And in all, so far, there has never been any rancor. This has been orderly done, with no dispute, with no rejection, of course, from Egbu, because Egbu have the right to look at the selection made by Ebukole family and, of course, assent or reject. But there have been no rejection. This is the procedure of selecting, identifying, and crowning of Egbu. One of the things that distinguishes this town, Egbu, from other towns, is the idea of no crowning of chieftaincy, no taking of the title of chieftaincy or giving. Now, one may ask, how did this come about? Traditionally, Alenyi, made up of Egbu, Naze, Awaka, Idogada, and Owere, do not confer chieftaincy titles. And come to think of it, what is in chieftaincy title? Egbu still recognizes all its citizens, male and female, who have made achievements. In Christmas periods, the Ezes, one after the other, have assembled men and women of Egbu who made achievement and conferred them with honors, but not chieftaincy title.
Amiri
ehogam ji isi ya o isi ya na-egbu so ọtamịrị the source ya na-egbu emeni hosho uke ndị egbu and ọ passing so many communities that ga ruo a river state fall into Atlantic Ocean. Ọkwanụ man and woman god ọtamịrị ahụ nwoke o nwekwara nwaanyị in that way akpọ nwanyị na iyi afọ dịka ahụ nwaanyị ebe in Igbo land anyị amụrụ Ogochia ọ nọ na Umewere nke Ọkpala na anyị amụrụ Igwe Kala Ụmụnọha anyị amụrụ Ọprọg Ihiagba anyị amụrụ Amadi Ọha Ọzụzụ na-eche Rivers State ahụ m gbagaga embodiment of Ọtamịrị. The day eji abịa arịarịọ ekpe ekpere ụbọchị ya ụbọchị Nkwọ and that is why ndị Igbo ejide jere ibe shi Nkwọ nye ọla jere ibe shi Nkwọ ọ violate the rules of the gods of the land o ji enwe problem ihe niile ndị mgbara gị si eme na onye ọla mere ya na nwega problem ijiri agụụ mee ya ijiri anya ọma mee ya ijiri ịma ha ma they must appease the gods for them to forgive you.
Another unique feature about Egbu Ancient Kingdom is its religion.
So, you see, Egbu is known for Christianity. Egbu is known for Christianity. This is the first place they call them Church Missionary Society came in the whole of Imo State. They came to Owerri, they drove them away. So they got to Egbu, then our traditional ruler gave them a place to stay.
As traditional worship and Christianity somehow have roots in Egbu because of the Ọtamịrị River having its source in Egbu and the early contact with Church Missionary Society, CMS, which has been established in Egbu from way back.
Anglican Church came to Egbu first. That was the first church that came to Egbu. That was 1905. So, and you can see the impact they have made in this place. We have a cathedral now, and we have Egbu diocese now instead of an ordinary parish.
As far back as 1906, when most towns were rejecting and running away from the whites, actually King Dennis and his team arrived at Egbu, and Egbukole Okorafor was very willing and happy to receive them. And this was what led to the Anglican mission making its headquarters at Egbu.
My father told me stories about Egbu, how the English Bible was translated to Igbo in Egbu here. The person that did it is Archdeacon Dennis, one of the missionaries that came here. So, you see, Egbu is known for Christianity. But when Christianity came, people were no longer interested in pagan worship. People now embraced Christianity. That was what happened. We have never asked any person not to go that way. Any place, if you want to worship idol, you can worship, but it does not create any problem in this society. We are peace-loving, and that is why it doesn't create any problem in our society. So the example I've given you is an example that will show you that there is no village without an idol worshipper in those days. So as we entered 21st century, all those things have been going. But it is different from the Western world. The Western world embraced Christianity. Around 1905, during the 20th century. But now they are living Christianity. You understand?
We cannot talk about Egbu without mentioning the love for education, which is actually part of the benefit of our early contact with Christianity.
I was opportuned to talk to my father about this schooling in those days. And he told me that when he was a little child, there was no school until these people came. They used to conscript them. You know what is conscription? During the war, we were using that word, conscription. That is, you will be here now. The Biafran army will come and carry you and put you in the army. The next day, they send you to the war front. So that was what they were doing to little children. They will come to their house and pick them to the school. After that, they will drop them, just like that. If you check, there's Egbu Central School was the first school in the whole of Imo State. The first school. People came from Muguta. People came from Mbise. So many people. To go to ordinary primary school, that's the only primary school. So they came here to do their education. Most of our people are educated. Most of our people. If I start mentioning their names here, you say, we have a lot of educated people in this town. Very many. Very many. And our children now, in those days, when you get your WAEC, you start working. But now, our children, they go to universities because there are a lot of universities around us.
Egbu has a unique festival known as Mbubozo Egbu. It is a very unique festival that we intend to explore.
The purpose of Mbubozo is cleanliness. Eso ụzọ niile si egbuje other communities. Ụzọ mmiri ọtamere, ụzọ ubi, sụcha eji ebe ọwụla, cleanliness. Iji kele Chineke, eri holy. Because oge ji ọhụrụ ba aga in Igbo land hụ afọ ọhụrụ ndị Igbo. Middle of June. Egbe ha akpọ Mbubozo. Because o nwere ndị ahụ messenger of ọtamere. Ọhụ ndị ga-ahụ maka Mbubozo nwa ndị ọha. Kee ya kwuo ekwe egbu, shi egbe keela Mbubozo. Oge eme na mgbe eme na all middle of June because Mbubozo ga-awọrịrị July. Ụbọchị afọ ahụ ndị Igbo aṅa ejikwa na-eme ya ejiri masụ ga ụzọ ahụ ejiri mee na nwere kpọọ mọbịa wụ ọka because ọka ihe eji afọ asịnị once ịkụrụ ọka January or February or March June July ịkpama na ọka ọhụrụ so ihe ejiri kpọọ ụmụ okorobịa ndị asụ ụzọ na ihe eji Mbubozo ahụ eji ọka eme Mbubozo. I wish I was aga eri ihe ndị ọzọ but the major food okay. na mmanya ngwọ na ọjị so ha gbasara mmụba ụzọ Egbu.
Culturally, we have a lot of dances in Egbu. You have Abigolo. In some villages, you have Okorobo, Ngelenge. These are some of the things we enjoyed when we were young. During the Christmas, you see a lot of the people from Umuayalo. They have this horse. I wouldn't like a situation where people would think that those things are fetish. They are not. They are the culture of the people. They are very cultural, and there's no place you go that you won't see that culture.
The ancient culture which our ancestors handed down to us still lives with us, Egbu people, till date.